Broadcasting from the Liberatory CPA studios, this is Politics and Profits. I'm Rick Amato. Now it's time for our Politics and Profits panel, the Triple P. Joining me in studio is Southern California radio talk show host Bob Baumer. Bob, good to see you.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Also in studio is a board member of the American Cancer Society and the CEO of Your Home Familycare, Laurie Edwards-Tate. Laurie, good to see you.
Thank you.
Laurie, let's start with you. Some of the big news, a lot of big news this week, always big news anymore. But one of those stories is John McCain. Only 10 days after having brain tumor surgery, he shows up to vote on the health care bill. Yeah. I know someone such as yourself who's very closely involved with following cancer, you're with American Cancer Society. What comments do you have on this?
Well, I applaud John McCain, who survived 5 years in the Hanoi Hotel, being tortured and staying with his men and not leaving. He could have left in 5 years, shows the American spirit and patriotism. Medically speaking, I'm not a medical doctor, but medically speaking, I understand it was a poor decision from a medical standpoint in that his brain could have started swelling. Or while he was on the plane, he could have developed an embolism. But for John McCain, it was the right decision to make. And when he went to the Senate, and I understand he even told his fellow senators, you really need to do your job. What better role model, what better example of what it means to be an American and to be a patriot?
All right. And those are important comments with someone of your background. Bob, obviously we applaud John McCain from a health issue, from a medical standpoint with what he's gone through. Let's shift gears a little bit on this story, politically speaking. Anything you care to add on that?
Yes, I agree he's a patriot. I admire him. He's a veteran, and he, like Laurie was saying, he had the right to leave. They offered him the right to leave the Hanoi Hilton, and he stayed.
Which is pretty amazing.
And he stayed so that someone else who was ahead of him could go home. But I thought it was great that he flew in so that he could vote and have the medical issues studied by the Senate and the Senate. But I think he should have gone ahead and voted for the amendment to at least terminate Obamacare. He didn't do that. But I do appreciate him coming in, but I do fault him for not voting.
Vice President Mike Pence was lobbying him for quite some time to change his mind and didn't.
I think, and I hate to say this, but there may have been a little animosity between McCain and Trump, because McCain says, well, you shouldn't have been captured in the first place.
Yeah.
What a silly comment.
Yeah.
And I think he paid for it last night.
I think you're right. You're right. Anything you want to add?
Oh, yes, absolutely. One of the things that McCain also has succeeded in doing is bringing the issue of glioblastoma to the forefront. And it's a type of brain tumor that is, there's no cure for it. And this is the same kind of brain cancer that killed Kennedy, Joe Biden's son. So what it's doing, and Joe Biden apparently is part of a foundation to help advance research. So the other benefit of his being proactive is bringing this to the public attention.
All right. Switching gears, health-related issue, not an upbeat one at all. The child Charlie Gard. A judge has ruled that he could not die at home. The young boy has, as of today, passed away. Is there a lesson here about socialized medicine?
Well, I don't think it's just socialized medicine. We've had these same issues in the United States. We've had the issues where people of a certain religion, do not believe in medical treatment, do not believe in operations. And throughout the history of the United States, our courts have intervened and made a decision. It is socialized medicine, but I don't think that was really the issue here, because as I'm understanding it, no medical treatment could have helped you, whether it was socialized or whether it was individual. But it does raise an interesting issue. I've been a lawyer for 45 years. And I can truthfully say we always give our judges two choices, bad and worse. And here this judge over in England had to make a decision on what was better for this boy. Was it better for this boy to stay where he was rather than go all through this experimental treatment? And so he made the decision, and it brought all this hatred and anger down against the court system. But I think the judge was really looking out for the best interests of the child.
Laurie, you know, President Trump offered to have the boy flown here as a medical company. You mentioned experimental. Medical company thought they might have had a experimental solution for him.
Yes.
But the judge ruled against that. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think from a medical standpoint, it probably was a good medical decision. But there again, we're talking now about human beings, and we're talking about instances where there is no cure. We have an infant born with a disease that will not allow for any kind of normal development. So if there was the opportunity to go somewhere, to make a difference, to make this tragedy relevant, possibly to help the child, possibly to help future children, it would have been really a more humane thing and a better use of this tragedy if the child was allowed to go and seek alternative treatment.
Any final words on that, Bob?
Yeah, it seems like to me it was very obvious that the boy was dying, unfortunately, and that it was all emotional. The parents were trying to do whatever they could. But the judge zeroed in on the issue, and he says, look, we're just going to cause this boy more pain and suffering without, with the guarantee he's going to die anyway.
All right. Go ahead.
Another comment. I really believe, and though I think you're probably correct on that point, Bob, I really believe that human beings and life in general has the right to fight, to see what that human being can do and what that potential is, even if it seems hopeless at the time. And I will just end with that comment.
Just a quick rebuttal. The fact of the matter is, shouldn't the boy die in dignity without being cut up or experimented on? I think the judge zeroed in on all the facts, and he made, I think, the right decision. I understand what you're saying, but it wasn't the best.
All right, we're going to real quick.
Okay, I'm not sure that I don't know enough about what the potential experimental would be, that he would be cut up, but I do think he deserved to try.
All right, from the Liberatory CPA studios, I'm Rick Amato. This is Politics and Profits. Scaramucci is in the news, and so is the IT aide of Debbie Wasserman Schultz. That's next.
Politics and Profits with Rick Amato is brought to you by Liberatory Accounting, the IRS problem solvers. To find out how Liberatory Accounting can help you, call 877-6-SOLVER. That's 877-6-SOLVER.